What if the secret to a better life had already been written over 2,000 years ago? Not by a life coach, not by a motivational speaker, but by a Roman emperor who led millions, a slave who had nothing, and a philosopher who faced death with a smile. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. These three men lived in completely different worlds. One ruled an empire. One was born into slavery. One was one of the most powerful advisors in Rome. But all three discovered the same truth, a truth so powerful, so simple, that it can completely transform the way you think, the way you act, and the way you live. Today, we're going to explore 5 Stoic lessons that have survived 2,000 years because they work. These aren't just ancient theories. These are practical tools you can use today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your life. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, anxious, out of control, or lost, this video is for you. Let's begin. Lesson 1: You are stronger than you think. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, a journal he never intended for anyone else to read, these words: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that for a moment. This was written by the most powerful man on earth at the time. He commanded armies. He governed millions. He had access to everything the world could offer. And yet, he sat alone at night and reminded himself the only real power you have is over your own mind. Why would the most powerful man in the world need to remind himself of this? Because power, wealth, and status don't protect you from fear. They don't protect you from doubt. They don't protect you from the voice inside your head that says you're not good enough, not strong enough, not ready. Marcus Aurelius had that voice too. And Stoicism was how he fought back. Here's the truth that most people never learn: your mind is not your enemy, but it can become one if you let it run without direction. Every negative thought you have about yourself, every time you say, "I can't do this," every time you give up before you even start, that's your mind working against you. But here's what the Stoics knew: the mind is trainable. Just like a muscle, just like a skill, you can train your mind to be stronger, calmer, more focused if you choose to. So how do you start? The Stoics had a practice called the inner citadel. Imagine your mind as a fortress. Inside that fortress is everything that truly belongs to you: your values, your judgment, your response to the world. No one can enter without your permission. No event, no person, no failure can destroy your inner citadel unless you let it. When life gets overwhelming, and it will, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" That question makes you a victim. Instead, ask, "How can I grow stronger from this?" That question makes you a warrior. The obstacle is not blocking your path. The obstacle is the path. Every difficulty you face is not a punishment. It is an invitation to become more than you currently are. Your mind is your fortress. And today, right now, you can choose to guard it well. Lesson 2: Life will test you. That's not a punishment, it's training. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." We live in a world that is obsessed with comfort. We want the easiest path, the fastest result, the least amount of pain. And there's nothing wrong with wanting comfort, it's human nature. But comfort, when it becomes your only goal, becomes your greatest weakness. Think about steel. Raw iron, on its own, is brittle. It bends. It breaks. But when you take that iron and expose it to extreme heat temperatures so intense that it glows, something changes. The impurities burn away. The structure becomes tighter, stronger. What comes out of that fire is steel. And steel doesn't break. Steel endures. You are no different. Every challenge you face, every failure, every rejection, every moment where you wanted to give up was fire. And fire doesn't destroy you. Fire forges you. Seneca understood this because he lived it. He was exiled from Rome. He lost his wealth. He watched his closest friends fall. And yet, through every trial, he wrote letters filled not with bitterness or self-pity, but with clarity and wisdom. How? Because he had trained himself to see adversity not as a problem to be avoided, but as a teacher to be respected. Here's a question I want you to think about: what is the hardest thing you've faced in your life? It doesn't have to be dramatic. It could be a job you lost, a relationship that ended, a dream that didn't work out the way you planned. Now ask yourself, what did that experience teach you? Who did it make you become? I'd be willing to bet that some of your greatest strengths today came directly from your greatest difficulties. The patience you developed, the resilience you built, the perspective you gained, that's Stoicism in action. When something goes wrong, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this teaching me?" Because nothing in your life is truly wasted, not if you're willing to learn from it. The strongest steel is forged in the hottest fire. And right now, wherever you are in your journey, you are being forged. Lesson 3: Stop trying to control everything. Epictetus, a man who was born into slavery, who had no wealth, no status, no freedom, became one of the most respected philosophers in the ancient world. And his most important teaching was this: some things are up to us, and some things are not. This idea, what philosophers call the dichotomy of control, is perhaps the single most powerful concept in all of Stoic philosophy. And yet, it's the thing most people spend their entire lives ignoring. We exhaust ourselves trying to control things we cannot control. We worry about what other people think of us. We stress about the economy, the weather, the news, politics, traffic. We replay conversations in our heads and imagine how they should have gone. We lie awake at night worrying about things that haven't happened yet and may never happen at all. And all of that worry, all of that anxiety, all of that mental energy poured into things that are completely outside your control. Epictetus knew this trap well. As a slave, he literally had no control over his physical circumstances. His master could dictate his every move. And yet, Epictetus was freer, perhaps, than most people alive today. Because he understood something profound: no one can control your mind without your permission. So let's be very clear about what is and what is not up to you. What is not up to you: other people's opinions, how they see you, whether they like you, respect you, or talk about you behind your back. The weather, the economy, market crashes, political decisions, what your boss thinks, whether your video goes viral, whether your business succeeds tomorrow. What is up to you: your thoughts, your effort, your attitude, your values, how you respond when things go wrong, how hard you work, what you choose to focus on, the kindness you show, the discipline you maintain. The moment you truly internalize this distinction, your life changes. Because you stop fighting the universe and you start working with it. Freedom does not come from getting everything you want. Freedom comes from wanting only what is within your power to have. Let everything else go. This doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you don't try. It means you put your energy where it actually matters, into your actions, your character, your response, and release the rest with grace. Let everything else go. Lesson 4: this moment is all you have. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." We are a generation of time travelers, but we only travel in two directions. Backward into regret and forward into anxiety. We replay the past over and over, reliving mistakes we can no longer change. We project into the future, catastrophizing about problems that may never arrive. And in doing all of that, we miss the only moment that is ever actually real. This one, right now. The past is gone. It exists only as memory, and memory is not reality. The future hasn't arrived. It exists only as imagination, and imagination is not reality. The only moment that is truly, fully, completely real is this moment. The moment you are in right now. The Stoics weren't the only ones to discover this truth. Buddhist monks, mindfulness teachers, modern psychologists, all roads lead to the same place. The present moment is where life actually happens. But here's what makes the Stoic approach unique: they didn't just say, "Be present," as a passive suggestion. They practiced it as an active discipline. Marcus Aurelius, despite running an empire, despite making decisions that affected millions of lives, trained himself daily to return to the present moment. Not because he was naive about the future. Not because he ignored the lessons of the past. But because he understood that the only place where action is possible, the only place where change can happen, is right now. Think about the last time you were fully, completely present. Not thinking about your phone. Not planning your next task. Not reviewing your regrets. Just fully here, fully alive, fully engaged with what was in front of you. How did that feel? There's a reason people describe those moments as the best moments of their lives. Because they are. Full presence is full living. The Stoics had a practice called memento mori. Remember that you will die. This sounds dark, be you.